Hello.
So welcome to the first podcast recording of Oxygen Mastermind Group. Oxygen Mastermind is a group of entrepreneurs who comes together to help and support each other. So here we have our first entrepreneur, Nabia from Nabia Creates. Nabia came up with this idea that as being the running this mastermind group, I should record all the stories that the entrepreneurs has. And the idea was not to just share the success story, but share the failure stories. I think a lot of wealth lies when people share their failure stories because there's a lot of learnings. And that's why we are recording this first podcast. And the rule is very simple: whoever brings the idea has to go first. And
I'm
that's where
stuck.
Navya came up with this idea. So we'll experiment with you, and she becomes the guinea pig. We call these episodes as School of Hard Knocks, where we are sharing you the learning hard way so that you can save your time, energy, and cash and cut short that learning curve to become successful. So let's join me in welcoming Nabia from Nabia Creates.
Hello.
Welcome, Nabia.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Are you excited?
I am excited. Had to wake up pretty early for this, but I'm
Okay.
excited.
So here's what we are gonna shoot constantly to you. Let's see how well prepared you are. Um, Three words to describe Nabia.
Determined, driven, and passionate.
Super. Tell us what is Nabia Creates all about.
So, Nabia Creates is a personalized gifting experience. We look at who you want to gift it to, when, and where they're going to use it, and that's when we come up with the gifts. Um, we've looked at every single location till now, and I'm really glad being born and brought up in a Muslim household predominantly, and then you go into experiencing so many different cultures and religions. It's very new, and I'm very proud of myself.
Super. How did this entire concept of Nabia Creates come into existence? How did you come up with this idea?
So it's a pretty sad story, which you already know. I lost my father 3 years ago, and I was in a very, very dark space. Leading up to it, there were a lot of family health issues, and suddenly I'm a 21-year-old without a dad. And I was like, instead of using all of this energy into maybe taking years and years to recover, let me put it into something that is productive. I've always been very driven with entrepreneurship. I started when I was 16 with my first failed project. But I was like, let's do this. Let's go all in. Let's focus all our energy on the right place. And more than that, I think I want to help my mom. Obviously, you can't experience what she had gone through, but I felt like me starting a business, because she's so crazy about entrepreneurship herself, she would help me out, and that would sort of distract her, and that's when it came into being.
So tell me, how did this idea of, okay, let's go into personalized gifting come into existence? You want to share your failed project? What was that?
Okay, so I was in high school. I was in the 12th grade, and I started my first business in the advertising industry. So, me, this naive 18-year-old, going to this massive industry of advertising, and our idea was to advertise on cups. So, we started approaching every cafe, coffee shop in the country, and we started telling them, we're going to give you this cup for free with your branding on it, but the only catch is that another person's branding is going to be on it. So a business like a cab service, a rent a car, and you get the cup for free. So you're saving a huge cost. And I think when you think of it, the idea was good, but obviously to make a name for yourself, it was crazy. I was juggling school with it. I did try it for a solid year or two. Every day I would walk all around JLT and Marina post school and all the exams, just to get all these cafes on board. But the idea of it didn't work, obviously, because the price of the cup, it didn't match, But it was a great experience. I did burn a lot of cash, though. I burned like 25,000 dirhams as an 18-year-old, which
Yeah.
was crazy. But no regrets.
Okay. So going back to the same question, how did this personalized gifting idea come into existence?
I think when I started, there was no one in the country doing a gifting experience at an affordable rate. So you would either have these huge flower bouquets or cakes, or you could go to like Patil and like pick up a box of dates or something like that, which is amazing in its own place. But that's sort of like your picture, your song, your memories, capsulated in a gift. That's where we wanted to come in. I always saw these ideas on like Etsy and just on Google, No one was doing it here, and that's why I was like, okay, let's start. So a lot of product innovation was obviously required.
How difficult it is to keep up with the market or market requirement.
Oh, it's crazy. But I think I'm doing okay because I have a brain that can't rest. So I can't easily go to sleep at like 1, 2, 3. If there's an idea, it's like I'm thinking, and by the time I'm about to sleep, the idea is already ready. It's in my phone, and I'm like, okay, let's try it in a week, in 2 weeks. What I've learned from you.
What is the craziest request you got it from a client for a personalized
Um,
gifting?
lots of crazy gifts. I think obviously a lot of them go toward that bachelor route, which we cater to sometimes in just privacy because you can't share it. But we had an order around last year where the iPhone 14 had just released. We had to buy it. We had to buy it in purple. Matlab, I didn't have it myself, but I'm running out to buy it. And we did this. We did like I don't know. I think it was all the value of the order was as much as like a corporate gift. And we packed up everything, makeup and chocolates and everything. And we had to, the request was that we personally deliver it. So my sister and I drove all the way to Ajman to deliver it to the receiver.
Yeah,
So yeah, because we had to take videos for the client too.
and you had to personalize that phones for them.
We had to do phone case. We had to do a lot of things. So the sheer volume of it and someone going that out, I was like, where do you find people like this?
Interesting. Um, what has been your biggest mistake in regards to the business? If you were to say this to young entrepreneurs or people who are going to start their business, what is it? Forget one. I would say three things that they should be paying attention to in their entrepreneurial journey from the very first day.
If you are a product based business, then definitely prices. The prices that you show as soon as your customers start buying, they sort of stick with you through the entirety of the business. So it is difficult, obviously, to wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm going to do like premium products, because your audience is sort of auto tuned that way. So definitely look at it in a long term perspective, especially in terms of your prices. Number two would be just to wing it. I used to think like, when you see an entrepreneur like, oh shit, this guy has it all figured out, but no one does, right? No one has. Even their day is like, god knows what's going to happen. So just wing it, just go live it, and you'll only know by living it. And another piece of advice that I'm still learning is to enjoy the season that I'm in, because just like your age, your business is also never going to be in this phase of its life again. So if you're small, just enjoy that day,
Yeah,
and then when you have like 100 orders, enjoy that day, because for us, like, we have 100 orders, let's say, on Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas it's like flat.
yeah,
So it's very important to enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Super amazing. Um, what was a failure that propelled you to move forward? Was there a place where you failed, but it actually motivated you to?
I think every failure, because I have so many people around me, alhamdulillah, just pushing me, that sometimes even after a failure at max, you can cry for like 6 hours.
Yeah,
And then
six
it's
hours is the
like,
limit.
chalo, let's move on.
Nabia's
So,
limit is 6 hours, or can go more.
no, 6 hours or a good night's sleep
Yeah.
is good enough.
Okay, tell me your biggest success story.
My biggest success story is these little moments when I go out and someone recognizes us for our work. That's It's crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
you go out and someone's like, "Oh my God, I know you," and you just think to yourself that, well, you're not exactly an influencer, you're just a business, but it's amazing.
No, I've been through this. It's
Yeah,
an amazing. Yesterday, only it happened where I was stepping out and somebody said, "You're Muni, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And the guy's like, "I follow you, and I follow what you say." So
yeah, it's
interesting.
it's amazing.
What was something you were very sure of that it will do wonders, but it did? And then that specific
Um,
product, service, idea that you were so sure of, but it didn't fly.
just right now, actually, we did for the Ganpati festival. We did boxes with modak, and in theory, it's amazing. But like I said, prices, they are so important. What the market charges, I couldn't, and what I wanted to charge, the market wouldn't buy. So all in all, it was like, okay, let's close this off. It was a great lesson. The orders that we booked, to be honest, we had to end up paying out of our pocket.
Yeah.
But what's a commitment? It's a commitment, and we delivered it.
Um, you're still very young, and you started this entrepreneurship journey to support your family. Um, what were the key learnings of that big incident that happened where, unfortunately you lost your father? What were the key learnings that made you? Because I personally believe that in this kind of situations, it either takes you forward or takes you back.
Agreed. Yeah.
Most of the people go back
Yeah.
because
It's
it's emotionally, they're not mentally and emotionally prepared. What would you or what did you do to emotionally push yourself or mentally push yourself to go in the right direction?
um. I kind of felt like I had to do it for my dad. I think I owed it to him. A lot of parents, they're here as immigrants. I mean, I'm a second generation. So for me, it's much easier, right? Alhamdulillah, I've had all the privilege of school and these outings and everything I could imagine. But as a first generation parent who's just moved, I think you owe it to them to do what's right by them instead of just, making a joke out of your life. It can't fly like that. Yeah.
I see a lot of your business is based on social media. Which social media handle is giving you the most revenue currently?
Instagram?
Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our website, actually.
And
Mostly website. But
are you a social media pro, or you for a period of time learned it your way?
I'm a social media kid. So I was there when Snapchat just released and making a first account on Instagram. So I obviously learned it from a personal perspective, but I've never been much of a poster. Like, even if you see my personal profile, it's like last post like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But definitely a learning curve. Lots to learn, and there's always something to learn.
What advice would you give it to the people whose businesses are based on social media or might come from social media? What would you say? I mean, we've been seeing these questions
Yeah,
coming every day in
exactly,
Mastermind.
exactly.
And how do I use my social media? What are the two or three
Um,
tips that you would give it to them?
I think the most important tip is to show up. Uh, the most important tip is to show up every single day. Talk to everyone who's following you. It could be as little as 10, 20 people. That matters. It counts definitely. The second tip would be to have fun and experiment. But before that, please do your research, see what camera angles work, how to take videos, and these small, short courses. Sometimes we feel the mountain is so big, and it's like you don't know how to overcome it. But social media is really not that. It's just a fun game.
Enjoy
Have
yourself.
fun, yeah.
And in fact, you've given me a lot of tips, and I've done it. And I see when you enjoy a lot, it just becomes more entertaining.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no perfect video or no perfect picture.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's the biggest key for me
Exactly.
when I was discussing with you. This podcast, we are not looking for a perfect podcast. We just said, let's start.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
pretty
saw
much winging
how
it.
much time
Yeah.
you spent just to figure out the perfect shot for
I
us.
think it took us longer to actually set it up than
Then to
actually.
talk.
It's true.
Okay. Um, you've been part of Mastermind for the last 2 years, and you've also been a personal coach to me. Your learnings from Mastermind group or coaching. Would you suggest coaching to others or Mastermind to others, and why?
I would suggest Mastermind as a community to others. I think there's nothing like it. I don't know in the world, I've not explored it, but in the country, it's the support and the growth is immense. It's also very lonely as a social media entrepreneur. So if you're only based online, for me, if I didn't have Mastermind, I think I would not leave my office for months. Just come in, talk to the same people every single day, and go home. So Mastermind, for me, that's the biggest factor. And obviously, the advice and the growth. I'm really glad I found it very early on in my life.
2 or 3 things you learned from Mastermind.
No one is going to hold you accountable. Do it yourself before it's too late, and all your hard work is basically washed away. Second thing, community matters. Who you surround yourself with. The days I come to Mastermind are much better in terms of productivity, and that 4 or 5 days leading, after Mastermind, those are amazing. And the last thing I learned is, of course, from you. It's like that, backbone. You always need it, and I'm really thankful for it.
3 words to describe me.
Oh God.
Yalla, let's see what comes to. And be as fair as possible. There's no editing happening here.
3 words. Inspiring, for sure. Crazy. In the worst and best way possible together. So it's a lot. And lastly, just a great friend. I think just to sit around with you, absorb your energy, and it's amazing.
Super. So I'll ask you a few questions, whatever comes to your mind. Ready?
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
Whatever comes to your mind,
I'm nervous. Like
you
this
just
coffee with
enjoy.
current
I know a lot of definitions are there, and I keep talking about
Oh
it.
my
So
God, are you going to do that to
yeah,
me?
so some of the definitions might
Oh.
repeat, and those are the words that I've been feeding you from last 2 years, but you don't have to stick to.
So can I pass it?
Yeah, you can pass it. There's no problem.
Okay.
What's success to you? Define success.
Peace,
Okay. Define failure.
learnings,
Define discipline.
showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, what do you believe more into? Talent, skill, or hard work?
Hard work.
Hard work.
Definitely.
If you were given an opportunity to restart this business entirely again, what is that one thing you would do differently?
I would not restart it.
You not
No,
restart it?
no, I would not. I'm very glad for the lessons. Yeah, it's like even if you start again, you need some lessons, right? So you just learn it a different way. If I was to do anything differently, not much. I think I've given it everything I have.
So I can give you a tip. If you were to
Oh
restart
my
your journey,
God.
if you were
Is
to
this supposed
restart
to
your
be a podcast?
journey up again, sit on your accounts. Sit on your accounts.
Okay,
That's
fine.
it.
See, you live and you learn,
Yeah.
right?
So if you were to
It
restart,
can,
sit on your accounts for the first day.
yeah. No, see, actually, the thing is, I think as an entrepreneur who's just starting out, especially at a young age, because my first project was failed, I didn't even imagine that this could be what it is today. So I started like some walk in the park, like let's see what's gonna happen. So yeah, I didn't anticipate it. Yeah.
One tip or advice to people who wants to start their entrepreneurship.
Just start.
Yeah.
Stop thinking of a million other ways to make it better and just start.
How many times in a week do you cry?
Nowadays, a little less because our season is yet to come. Right now, it's a bit free. But I know Munir and I, we've had our fair share of arguments. So maybe the days I come here, I cry a little more. Maybe.
Super. Opportunity to ask me questions. Yalla.
You didn't give me time to.
It's okay. We are playing the game. Let's play the game. There's no perfect podcast.
What do you wish to achieve from the mastermind community?
I want to leave a legacy. That even when I'm gone, this community should be going around. People should help each other and take it to next level.
Okay. And what is that one thing when you achieve, you'll say, yeah, I made it?
That's the biggest challenge.
See, look at the talent. I'm sitting here, I'm coming up with these questions.
That's the biggest challenge. I thought I'll open up this office and I'll slow down. And we opened it up. We were here till 9 p.m. at night. 8 a.m. I was here back. And I thought, no, the game begins now. And every time I think that next year I'll slow down, it's just that December comes and I say, now the game begins. Now the game. I always feel like it's a warm up. We'll now pick up our
You've been
sets.
warming up for very long.
Yeah. And every time I do it, I'm like, the more I'm saying to myself, oh, this was just a warm up, we'll pick up weights now. It just motivates me. Is there a day where I think that I've done it enough? I don't think so. I think every time I cross a bridge, I think, oh, that's what I want to do now. That's what. So probably my personality is like that. That's.
So you're never going to be like, okay, I made it. No, it's not like after you feel it, you stop. But you know that.
I don't know. There's no number to it. I think that when it feels that I've made it.
Okay. And if you were to keep one part of mastermind intact and everything else falls apart, what would you keep?
Accountability.
Just being accountable to each other.
That's it. Even if that happens, people will grow to next level. If they're just accountable to each other, if they're accountable to themselves and their accountable partner, I think that's one tool that has taken me to next level. I think the more I go and report to my accountable partner, I'm actually saying it loudly to myself so I can hear it, what all I have not done. And then that makes me go and say, let's do next. So I think if everything falls out, I mean, just keeping the accountability intact will take it to the next level.
Okay. And so we have this thing, this concept in mastermind, which is like, if Munir says it, it'll happen. It's like this blind faith. What is it? Because I felt it. What is it? I mean, what is that thing that it comes out of your mouth and it's like, okay, done? What is it?
So it's interesting. A lot of people have said, how do you coach people? I don't know of other coaches how they do it. For me, if Nabia comes and asks me a question, the question to myself is, if I am Nabia, what am I supposed to do right now?
Okay.
And that's my answer.
Okay.
And it could be
99% of the time you don't give me answers.
yeah, but most of my question is this is to ask you a question. But when you come to a T junction and say, I don't know, you tell me what to do.
Okay.
My question is, if I am Nabia, what am I supposed to do? If that comes to me like this, then I think this is the right answer. There are times where I've given the most silliest suggestion, and the suggestion has flown so high that their business has grown 5x. And they told me, why did you think this silliest suggestion would change the life? And I said, I don't know. But at that moment, when I'm thinking that if I'm this person, I know the answer, what would that be? And I think the answer just comes. So yeah, people say what I say happens and they fly, but I think I always think that I'm blessed with right people who take my words. And
I don't. I just imagine me like praying at night. Guys, जो सब मैंने सबको हटा दिया वो बोलते
ऊपर
थे
वाला
आमी
जिसको जो बोला है सब दे देना प्लीज मेरी
वरना पिटाई
नौकरी
पड़ेगी.
खतरे में.
I just imagine that.
No, but you're right. I do pray every night for all my clients.
Okay.
And not in terms of,
Hmm.
in terms of, thank you so much for surrounding me with these people. And I feel blessed. So
Okay.
that's the feeling, that I really feel blessed when I'm surrounded with this community. And I feel really humble. And so that's my prayers. That thank you so much for bringing right people in my life who are there, who see value in what I do, and they actually, go to next level.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't make, but I'll make that prayer now. जो भी
I
बोला है
feel it.
चला लेना please.
Okay, who out of Jazip and Sabah have the opportunity to take control of Mastermind?
Who has the most control?
Yeah.
We don't know right now. They both
When
are
will
competing. Once the time will tell us
Who will be the next entrepreneur?
who will be the next. Both of them. I'll tell you. So they both have their own pluses and minuses. Zeba is super disciplined. Nobody
Okay.
can beat her discipline.
Okay.
And she's super organized. So nobody can do it, right? Whereas Jazib has his own creative moments. He does it, but he does it his way. He doesn't need to.
Like his dad.
Huh?
Like
Yeah.
his dad.
Yeah. So he's very, very creative, and he thinks that, oh, it's not that Zeba is not creative, she's also creative, but Jazib does it his own way, his own style. He tries to, they say, if there's an exam, Zeba would read all the chapters and she would come number one. Jazib would not read all the chapters.
Jazib would pay money to the guy who
No,
knows.
he would only read those chapters jiska kaam aane wala hai. And he would fly the exams. So both have their own skills and techniques. Both are entrepreneurs. They come up with 10 ideas every day just to
Keep it working.
keep my head going, and some of them are really crazy. And that is that whatever. They don't even need to take mastermind.
Okay.
They don't want to. That's okay. I'm not building it for them. I'm building it as a legacy. But if they say no, I want to do something perfect, create something bigger than me.
Okay.
The idea is to
That's
create
great.
something bigger than me, not to create what I have created. It's to take it 10x. So
And
whatever.
if there was no mastermind, what would you be doing?
This is something that it's interesting. From 11th grade, I knew either I'll be a coach, a trainer, or a dancer.
You would be a dancer?
That's what I knew.
Okay.
I was just going in people's marriage dancing for free. So I thought at
You
least,
still do that?
yeah, now though I do it, there's a time. That time there used to people used to call me for 4 days to dance.
Like the band baja barat? Like
No.
आके नाचो?
खाली बस friends लोग की शादी में जाके नाच.
Okay.
But I was very keen that अगर या तो ये नहीं हुआ तो मैं कुछ creativity में कुछ करता, dance में या किसमें. Not in terms of a dancer, but be a choreographer or do something like that. But 11th grade, I came to know I'll talk and I'll earn money through coaching and training. So if I was not having mastermind, of course, coaching is something I've been doing from now ages, almost more than a decade, 15 years above. I would do coaching and training.
Okay. And what would you if you were to sum up life in one word? what would you be?
There are so many words coming right now to my mind, but right now the word that right now act at this moment is aspirations.
Okay.
I think people should have aspirations to go to next level. Um, People yesterday someone was like, I do you should you feel contented, and contentment then leads to not moving forward. And I said no, there are two different things. Contentment can happen over a cup of coffee, but that doesn't mean I want to not achieve that. So I think aspirations is something that keeps us alive. Every morning if you wake up with aspiration, you have enough in your life to do. So the word
Agreed.
is aspiration.
Okay, amazing. I think I'm
Super,
done.
this was fun.
Yeah,
Thank you so
it
much,
was.
Nabia. Nabia is our client, but I'm also Nabia's client, where we have used a product. We give a welcome kit every
Oh
mastermind
yeah.
member who joins, and it's a beautiful thing that she's created for us. People love what she creates. I would definitely recommend Nabia and to use her products, and they're one of the best when it comes to personalized gifting. A lot of my products, my keychains and everything is being designed by her, including the phone cover. So thank you,
Yeah.
Nabia, for coming. This was fun to talk, and I think this is where we are going to start, and you will be going in the history of Mastermind. That this was the girl, the youngest girl who came and gave an idea, and now
Okay, but I before we close off, I think I want to explain my vision behind Mastermind Podcast. I think it would be great for us as a community to have each other to rely on. And I wanted a small part of this to be I, as an entrepreneur, how can I further grow the mastermind community? And just like if after me there were 100 people to come, who can help whom where? And next thing you know, we're helping each other even outside of our group. So let's use this as a community, right?
100%.
Any suggestions? We're always open to
Yeah.
it as well.
So one thing that you would like to offer to not just the community, anybody who's watching this, if there's a young
Um,
entrepreneur who wants to have some help, what help would you give?
well, I'm famous for social media help and website help, so that door is always open. Other than that, anything related to my business, anything you feel I could help with, I can help with. Yeah.
Super amazing. Thank you so much for coming out with this
Thank you
idea,
for
and
calling
I'm
me.
sure we are going to take this to next level.
Yes, I hope so.
Super. Thank you guys. Keep watching. This is called Cool of Hard Knocks. We are going to bring in a lot of stories. You heard Nabia's stories and how she started. Uh, we'll bring in more stuff to learn from each other. Take it back, implement it, and tell us how are this podcast going to make a difference or change your life. Thank you. This is Monish Samnani, and this is
Nabia.
thank you.
Bye.